That same redhead, and he said, hey, I got a new job, and I need you to help me. I said, well, what are you doing? And he told me, and I really didn't quite understand. I didn't understand that people actually gave back to the university. I didn't really realize that you had to support a university, you had to support athletics. But, you know, he's a little persistent, as you know, and so I said, okay, fine, I'll take a shot at it. And for the next 20 years, I was blessed with really my next group of Seminole friends, and there are a couple of them here from Palm Beach County. But we had the greatest volunteers in the entire world. We had an awful lot of fun. We got to know everybody that was any way associated with FSU in Palm Beach County. And we worked together, and I think working together always makes very strong friends. And back then we didn't have internet or anything else, so we'd be up late at night stapling and copying things and stuffing envelopes with newsletters and licking stamps and putting on banquets and making phone calls late at night, and even down in Lantana, somebody having to go up the palm tree. Somebody having to go up to the palm tree and twist the antenna so we could get the Miami station to get the Miami game on the TV before cable. I stay close to most of them, and I'm overjoyed when their infants that they brought to our parties are in school, and now they're out and coming back and supporting us. But there were also others like me that were volunteers around the state. Larry Strom from down in Sarasota, Steve and Yvonne Brown from Miami, Mike Millardy from Orlando, who am I missing, and Jim King, God rest him, in Jacksonville. They were great people. It was an exciting time. Our university was growing by leaps and bounds, things we didn't know, and we were part of that, and it made it fun. 18 years ago, that dadgum redhead was at it again, and convinced me that I need to move to Tallahassee. He said, I can't pay you much. He said, but you're going to be 100 times happier. You know, and as usual, he was right. And it was a tough decision, but best thing I ever did, probably should have done it earlier. And doing that opened up a whole new world. A whole new group of Seminole friends, the people I work with and have worked with, not just in boosters, but in athletics, the coaches, all across the university. They've been wonderful people and wonderful friends. But my favorite group of donors, though, are donors. And they're not my donors. Some people say, well, they're my donors. Well, they're not my donors. They're donors of the university. And I'm just fortunate enough to be there to help them make a gift, and some people I've never even helped make a gift but are involved with the university have become very, very close to me. And donors are really my favorites because, number one, they're all young at heart, and they love the university as much as I do. A friend who's not here, I thought he was going to be here, he's a member of the alumni board, once asked me, and I trust his judgment very much, he said, what is it that makes you love your job? I'd really never thought about it, and he said, think about it, and we'll talk about it. And I thought about it, and I thought, you know, the thing that I love the most is really helping people make gifts and seeing their response to making their gift. It's extremely rewarding. My last set of Seminole friends are the hundreds of remarkable young people that I've got to know over the last 18 years, whether it's Student Alumni Association, student athletes, student boosters, interns. I tell people that everybody should work in a university situation because at the end of the day, when you're around the kids, you come back charged up. And they're really what we're all here for, whether we work in athletics or whether we work on the on the foundation side, on the academic side, it's really what we're all about. And when people get down and they say, oh, gee, I don't know what this country's coming to, the kids nowadays, and they're not around the kids that we're around. Because the kids we're around are fabulous kids, and I'm very glad that they're going to be a part of the world to come. And I also know that each of them will work and give back to the university. You see that. You see it when we were in school. You never thought about that. You never talked about that. And the kids nowadays talk about that. Talk about what they want to do when they get out, how they're going to give back to the university, how they're going to stay involved in the university. And I hope that they all will. What they'll learn is that you get back about 1,000 times more than you give. And so I'm very, very happy to receive this award today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Sean Pittman is our next recipient. In the late 1980s, just as Florida State's football fortunes were on the rise, another force was taking the campus by storm. That force was a social sciences undergraduate and an FSU law student named Sean Pittman. Student government president, check. Chairman, Florida Student Association, check. Editor-in-chief of Black Awareness newspaper, check. Founder of the Student Honorary Burning Spear, check. Almost 20 years have passed since then, and there's still no signs of the storm slowing down. Professionally, Pittman has risen among the ranks of Florida lawyers who work in the corporate and governmental world. Named one of Tallahassee's top 25 most influential people by the Tallahassee Democrat, and one to look for by the Florida Trend magazine, his Pittman law firm was recognized in 2008 as Tallahassee Chamber's Small Business of the Year. In the community, Sean was tapped as chairman of the Children's Home Society's North and Central Florida region. The boards on which he has served, including Leadership Florida, are too many to name. Since 2005, Pittman has been a member of the Orange Bowl Committee, chairing that organization's governmental relations and team outing committees. 2 years ago, Leadership Tallahassee honored him with its prestigious Servant Leadership Award. Sean Pittman's dedication to Florida State includes serving on the Seminole Booster Board. He is a lifetime member of the Alumni Association and entry into the Doak Campbell Society. In 2010, Pittman and his wife, Audra, contributed $100,000 to the Florida State College of Law to fund the Sean Pittman Scholarship for Minority Students. And he's earned the enviable reputation as a television pundit, as co-host of the popular statewide political roundtable known as The Usual Suspects. I'm sure you'll agree these are all impressive accolades, but sometimes you must look beyond mainstream in order to take the full measure of a person. Here's a story you don't hear often about Sean Pittman. Back when this university center was just a dream, the state funding of this project was under fire from every angle. Our friends down in Alachua County were encouraging a certain lobbyist to shoot down this project. But Florida State's student body president, who also was appointed to the State Board of Regents, was steadfast in his support. They thought they could push over this student, but Sean Pittman stood strong. So it seems fitting today, inside the facility that he helped save, that we should honor him for making us proud in so many ways. And I am proud to say we welcome Sean into the Circle of Gold.
Thank you very much. I always thought my head was too big to have, like, put something like this, figuratively. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here. Let me first say thank you to the Alumni Association for this honor. Wow. Governor Askew's here. We should give him a round of applause. I didn't know he was here. Quite an honor and happy to be here. First of all, let me introduce you to my wife. I was a little troubled when I saw her name tag because I saw my name and it said Sean Pittman, 1990, 1994, and it said Audra Pittman, 2007. I don't want any of y'all to get the wrong idea here. Dr. Pittman was getting her doctorate when I met her, so let's just make sure everybody knows that right away. Anyway, want to thank my wife for being here and making sure I got here today because there's a lot going on today, so thank you, sweetie. Wow. Circle of gold. I have to tell you that if we put this room back in Riviera Beach, Joel, where I grew up, and you had me up here speaking, those people would not know what the hell was going on here. They'd be all right with the colors, but they would wonder, why is this guy speaking in front of all these white people? They really would wonder that. And I got to tell you, as I heard our first two speakers speak, it made me think about the fact that you got to know that as amazing as your experience was at FSU, that the experience of an African American is very, very different. It's very, very different. And I can tell you that some of my greatest moments, Scott, and some of my worst moments were at FSU. I can tell you that some of my greatest lessons and some of the things that I was too young to learn about were all at FSU. And I don't think that's bad. I think that speaks volumes about the experience at FSU. And so when you came here in the mid-'80s, and I see our new student body president back there, when you came here in the mid-'80s, it was a little different than it is today. I mean, we didn't, black students didn't have cars to worry about parking. We didn't have, we didn't know where the mall was. That was something that we didn't have to worry about. I mean, we knew where the financial aid office was. Those of us who were lucky enough to get it, we knew where that office was. We didn't have food all the time. Me and my roommate fought over, my roommate was terrible. It was Tim. He used to save, we used to buy a pizza because pizzas were cheap. And he used to save his half a pizza. He'd eat one slice. He'd save the rest just to torture me later in the night. It was amazing. But I got to tell you, this university grabbed me from Palm Beach County. A guy coming from thinking that he was either going to be a basketball player or a pop star, FSU came in and said, you're going to be neither. And turned down junior college scholarships to play, thinking I could come up here, and they put in my head, you come up here and you can walk on, you'll be great. And they were right, I could walk on. And I went to law school because I learned you have to really listen to what people say. They said, you could walk on. But it really changed my life. FSU really changed my life. I can tell you that when I meet people and I talk to them about my experience post-FSU, many people would be shocked to look into pre-FSU. to see that I went to a black high school that where very few of us made it out to go and do anything. And even myself didn't really know what I was going to do until basketball was over. And I was in the last 9 weeks trying to figure out what I was going to do. And FSU was sort of sitting there. And I came here and immediately met the right people. So none of this is about what we do, right? I got here and I met the right people. I met the Bob Leaches of the world. I met the Nancy Turners, the Cheryl Reagans. I met Dr. Pitts. I met Cheryl Reagans. I met the right people that any problem, issue I had, I knew where to go. And I had a lot of them. I did. I had a lot of them, but I knew where to go. And this university employed the kind of people who could see talent, who could see this person really wants to be here. Let's give them the edge that they need, to make it through. But I had a bigger issue when I came here. I didn't know anything about life. And that really is the thing that makes a difference. We try to we talk to our daughter like we talk to one of you, because we want her to know, to have a vocabulary. Our daughter has been to 4 countries already. She may not remember it, but it's something about that experience when you're young. You take it in and it benefits you later. I knew nothing. I had never been past Delray Beach. I had never been north of Vero Beach. So I didn't really know anything. So I came up here and God gave me sponge ability once I got here, because I quickly realized I didn't know a damn thing, quickly. And I realized, okay, you need to listen for a while. You need to really, really listen so that people don't realize that you shouldn't be here. And Governor, that's what I did. I listened a lot. And what's more significant about that problem, that issue, was I realized I had never had a black role model in my life, somebody older than me, who had seen things, done things, could teach me things, could listen, could say that's not right, that's good, go there, go north, south, don't talk to her, but talk to her, I mean, I had never had that. And when my first year of law school, I met John Marks, the mayor of our city. He wasn't the mayor, I know him as John. And I finally had in my life that figure who was good, that figure who could say, this is what I've been through, that figure in my life that could say, you shouldn't do this and be careful of this. You need that. FSU gave me that, because FSU gave me a Circle of Gold member, John Marks. Thank you, John. And the experience at FSU at the time was very, very difficult, because you did your classes at FSU, but you did your social time over at FAMU, if they let you come. And you had to sort of get into that. You know, they had to see that you understood that even though you're getting your classes over here, Steve, that you're relating over there. So there's that huge separation. Scott and I just had lunch and we were talking about that a little bit. So it throws you off a little bit, because you don't go to class with the same mentality that will teach you those other things in life that come after class. You have to shift. You have to shift, and that shift is not always easy. Wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to shift? If you just could be the same over here as you are over there? That's what FSU taught me is that you gotta be able to do it all. And I benefit from it every day. There's more I could tell you that there's things I'm not saying there, but I know most of these people in this room, and I know you already know what I'm talking about. FSU, I made it here because I created families, and families accepted me. Student government was one. Most incredible year of my life was being student body president at FSU. A year that I think FSU was in a huge transition, Mary. Really trying to decide that it wanted to be a major national university, not just with sports, but with so many other things. And Charlie, the University Center was just a part of that, right? It was just a part of what we needed to do as a university in order to take that next step. We have other steps to take. Our endowment has to grow. We've got to build a state-of-the-art facility or transform a state-of-the-art another facility for our basketball program. We got to get back to winning 11 football games. Speaking of football. There's a lot that we have to do to get to that point. But I know that we're all on our way, and everybody here in this room has a part in that. I chose Tallahassee as home, much of it because of Florida State University. Florida State is an amazing place, and Tallahassee, and it consumes Tallahassee in so many ways. I mean, even when we have people come and help us at our house to do things, the first thing I try to get in common with them is FSU. And it helps them do a better job at whatever they're doing. If you link that commonality, you bring that together, Mary, and then they'll do a better job for you. So FSU helped me choose where I would live. So it's not just about the classroom. It's about so many other things. I also was able, because I went to law school and because I stayed in Tallahassee, to be close to young people who come through Florida State University, who at any given point in time may need Sean Pittman to be a John Marks. Steve Smith is one of those people who, former Senate president and a lawyer now, who had issues at FSU that needed the kind of guidance that got him through law school and got him through the Florida bar. But I'm proud of him today that he decided to turn his head on those problems and decided that wasn't it for me. There's other things for me. So I thank Steve for being here. And in my everyday life, you know, I'm a new dad and I'm a new husband. I appreciate that. That's been the best part of my life, even though I've done some amazing things and been in some amazing places. The challenge and the glory of being a husband and a father is insurmountable. There's nothing like it. On its best days and on the days that aren't so great, it still is the part of my life now that I treasure the most. So FSU's got a long way to go to get over that. But short of that, FSU's #1 in my heart. Thank you for this honor.
Gary Wilson. Even as a student, it was clear Gary Wilson's life story was going to be one of success. While on campus at Florida State, earning an undergraduate degree in real estate, Gary was active in his Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity, where he was elected president his senior year. The Orlando native had already distinguished himself in extracurricular life of the university, serving as a student senator and on the Interfraternity Council. Wilson was tapped by both ODK and the Garnet and Gold Key. Garnet and Gold Key later named him FSU's Senior of the Year in 1985. After completing his undergraduate degree, Gary attended the University of Mississippi School of Law, where he won the Dean's Distinguished Service Award. He served on the Student Body Senate and the Moot Court Board and was named Who's Who among American law students. So then it's very little surprise that Gary's professional and personal life mirrored his student success. Over a 20-year career in law, Gary has distinguished himself as one of the best labor and employment attorneys in Florida. He was named by his peers to the preeminent list of 2012 super lawyers, and for the last 2 years running has been selected by the Orlando Magazine as one of the city's top attorneys in his field of practice. In keeping with his track record of service, Gary has continued to give back, serving as president of the Orlando chapter of the Federal Bar Association and on the board of directors of Restore Hope Foundation, a Christian organization focused on assisting economically deprived children in Orlando's inner city. Along the way, though, he has not forgotten Florida State. For 2 decades, he's been a fixture in the Orlando Seminole Club, serving as its president during the time when the club was voted the best Seminole club in the country. For as long as anyone can remember, Gary has been responsible for arranging the club's enviable list of guest speakers, the result of which has continued to make it a bright light in our gem of Seminole Club network. Gary served the Alumni Association as a national director from 1997 to 2006. He's been a Seminole booster for more than a quarter of a century. He's a lifetime member of Florida State Alumni Association, and he's a member of the College of Business Board of Governors. Along with his wife, Betsy, the Wilsons have given generously to the university and are members of the Foundation's President's Club. Today, we welcome Gary into a different club, the Florida State Alumni Association's Circle of Gold. Gary Wilson.
Thank you. Sorry. Sean, you're a little taller than me. I'm not going to give a Tim Tebow pose, but I do want to begin by thanking my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for the abundant blessings that I've been afforded in my life. I also want to thank the Alumni Association. I see Governor Askew in attendance, Mayor Marks, Dr. Barron, and Mrs. Barron, fellow members of this esteemed society, this circle. Thank you very much. I am extremely humbled to be inducted into such an esteemed group as this. I see so many friends and familiar faces here in the audience that I know and I've known over the years. And it's just an honor to be here standing before you. When I received the call from Laurel, I was at my former firm. In the last couple of months, along with another attorney, have ventured out in the world of entrepreneurship, of starting my own law firm, which has been exciting and scary all at once. But it's been great. And when I received the call from Laurel, I wondered if she had the wrong number or if she had the wrong person, because I just was so overwhelmed to think that I had done enough to be bestowed this great honor. I am honored to be joined by my family, my wife Betsy, my mother-in-law Ann Wild, and my daughter Caroline and my son Andrew, who has been accepted to FSU into the honors program, but he's making us sweat it out. He's not telling us if he's going to come here yet. He's been accepted by a number of schools. I'm sorry, I get a little choked up. He's been accepted by a number of schools, and it's down to two, one out-of-state school and Florida State. So feel free to bend his ear in the president's box when we're upstairs shortly. My mother was too ill to travel to attend, but I do want to say that without family support, I would not be here before you. Scott, when he sent the letter, said we were to spend a few minutes to reflect on our years at FSU and what it means. By way of background, a lot like Joel, definitely came from a middle-class environment, middle-class family with blue-collar parents. Both my parents grew up in farms in the Midwest. My late father was a teacher in Orange County Public Schools and a football coach. And I was the youngest of three boys, and when it became, I had an opportunity to go to college. Both my older brothers didn't have the opportunity to get away from home. They had to work their way through college. I had a small scholarship opportunity, and I had to go somewhere in the state of Florida. And to me, the choice was easy. And so I came up here to FSU in the fall of 1981. Half the student size of today. I think we were right around 20,000 students at that time. Now you're at 40.